Good afternoon. Thank you for watching our live briefing for Monday, May 4th. We have a lot of content for you today. I have a couple of things. Then you're going to hear from Tracy Powell, who's our infection preventionist, and she's going to talk about her role on the team, the incident command team. Then Deborah Jacobson, followed by Sherry Grady. Then we'll have Taryn Young do a wellness segment for you. And finally, Lynn McClintock will do today's pastoral care segment. A quick look at the COVID-19 data. In the US, we've had about 1.17 million cases and about 68,000 deaths. In Virginia, testing is increased quite a bit within the Commonwealth. We still lag most of the country in testing, but the pace of testing has really increased. Currently, we've had 123,000 individuals tested, and that's up about 3,700 from yesterday. We've had, as of today, we have 19,492 cases, up 821. As I mentioned last week, the indicator that we're tracking on to determine if we're headed in the right direction is a measure called the positivity rate, which currently for today is at 15.2%. And the governor has said the way he looks at it, or the way we will look at it, is with the 7-day rolling average. And that trend is headed in the downward direction, which is good news. Has been for about 4 or 5 days now. Within Virginia, we have had 2,700 hospitalizations and 684 deaths, up about 24 from yesterday, and about 2,550 people have recovered from COVID. More locally, in Henrico, we have right at about 1,000 cases. Chesterfield has almost 600 cases, and Richmond sits at 420 cases. So a big increase in our region over the last week. Next thing I want to talk about is that we, Westminster Canterbury, have begun to develop our internal plan for how we're going to move forward with what we're calling our phased reopening. As we get more clarity from the governor and from the Virginia Department of Health, we can put more structure around this plan. I'm sure many of you listened to the governor today, where he laid out more details for his plan for phase one. As I just said, the data's headed in the right direction, and so he said perhaps as early as next Thursday, a week from Thursday, he would be prepared to begin phase one. Dr. Avula, who you'll remember is the Director of Public Health for Richmond and Henrico, he spoke to our incident command team and our board leaderships this morning, and he told us that we should expect that with every phase of reopening of our society will come an increase in the risk to our senior living community. Because each time we loosen our societal restrictions, people are going to get sick, and some of those are going to be our staff. And so we just need to be prepared for that and factor that into our planning. We're going to use the governor's guidance and Dr. Avula's guidance in determining our plan for how we bring services back to you within this community. I want to be clear, we don't have a timeline at this point for reopening the campus to the outside. That will not be in our first phase. As an incident command team, contemplating reinitiating programs and services within this campus is stressful. It's stressful because, honestly, we hear about terrible situations in other communities just like this one all the time. Both Saturday and Sunday of this past weekend, I was on the phone with an executive of a very large community, just like Westminster Canterbury, in Maryland, just north of DC. Now, the political environment in that part of Maryland has been very resistant to quarantine and restrictions for independent living residents. So this community allowed independent living residents to come and go from the campus earlier in this situation. Now, the campus had a good first few weeks of the pandemic, so presumably they relaxed and felt very confident. Then a resident went out to visit family, contracted the virus, but never got sick. Resident came back on campus, continued to get together with his or her neighbors, something we've asked you all not to do. Ultimately, one of this resident's neighbors developed a cough, but that resident convinced themselves that it was just allergies, and they didn't need to report it to the campus administration. Instead, this person asked a neighbor friend to take that person to the doctor. Well, you know the rest of the story, right? Now they all have it, plus many more. As of yesterday, 36 residents in the community are currently positive, with 14 more suspected and 16 deaths. As a community, it's a bad situation. Let's just leave it at that. It is a very bad situation. And so as an incident command team and as the CEO, this is very stressful. We know, there's no question, lifting restrictions is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And it is going to cause more illness. And it's going to put Westminster Canterbury at greater risk, not less. So to steal a phrase from Governor Cuomo, who I must admit is really good at what he does, I want to beg you to think of we, not me, as you make decisions about how we move forward here. Because the longer we stay a closed community, the safer we're all going to be. As we open this up, people are going to get sick again, and it could happen to us. We are certainly not immune to it. And so our job is to do this in a smart way and in a safe way. And I'm just going to beg you, starting today, as we roll this plan out, be patient, and please think of we, because it's going to be a team effort. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to invite Tracy Powell up. She's going to tell you a little bit about her role as infection preventionist on the incident command team.
Good afternoon, everybody. As John said, my name is Tracy Powell. I am the infection preventionist for Parsons Healthcare, but I also serve as the infection control chief for our coronavirus incident command team. In this role, I do several things on a daily basis, and I would like to share with you a brief overview of my day. First thing I do every morning, bright and early, is check the Virginia Department of Health, their website, because I want to report that every morning to our incident command team. And what I'm looking for is the current data. I'm looking for how many tests have been performed in the Commonwealth, how many cases positive that we have, how many hospitalizations, and sadly, how many deaths. After I get that data, I attend the daily incident command meetings to share those numbers with the team. And I want to hear also what's going on campus-wide. I also advise on infection control standards as the team creates new guidance, because we all know it changes very, very rapidly. After that meeting, I jump right on into a conference call for the Parsons Health Center. They have a stand-up meeting every day. In these meetings, we review all of our residents in Parsons. We discuss any symptoms any of the residents may have, who may need to be put on droplet precautions, and decide actually if we have to test anybody for COVID-19. And this can be confusing at times, so our nursing leadership did develop a decision tree to help nurses on the floor and guide us all on what precautions we may need to put on our residents. I also stay in very close communication with the Richmond Henrico Health Department. They help us guide our decisions about next steps that we may need to take with this ever-changing pandemic situation. Nursing leadership throughout the whole campus, this includes the clinic, assisted living, and Parsons, are very engaged with each other, and we help each other make decisions collaboratively. Sometimes we just need more eyes on a situation. I would like to assure you that we are working diligently to do everything we can to keep COVID-19 off of our campus. These times are so challenging for all of us, and I want to thank all of you for what you're doing to help prevent infection on our campus. It's very important that you continue to wash your hands frequently, use the hand sanitizer that's around the facility, and please maintain your social distance. Also, if you do not have a face mask and you would like one, please contact Resident Services at extension 6082, and we will be sure to get one for you. And lastly, for residents that reside in independent living, if you feel any new symptoms of COVID-19, please notify the clinic at extension 6231, and we will get you the help you need. The CDC has recently added new symptoms of COVID-19 in addition to the ones that were originally put out, which were basically just 3, which was an elevated temperature, a dry cough, and shortness of breath. These new symptoms include chills, repeated shaking with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, and a new loss of taste or smell. So please do not hesitate to reach out to the clinic staff with any questions or concerns that you may have. I want everybody to stay safe, and I thank you again for everything you're doing to help the campus. And up next is Deborah Jacobson.
Good afternoon. I have a couple updates here for you. First of all, we know that many of you enjoy your orchids, but sometimes they need a little TLC. Many of you are used to calling Chadwick's or going by Chadwick's and taking your orchids so they can receive that TLC. Well, Janice from Chadwick's has been in touch with us because many of you have reached out to her, and we have a solution for those orchids that need to go back out to Chadwick's. If you will call Ethan in transportation at 6263, Ethan is going to make arrangements on this Wednesday at the Azalea parking lot to have Chadwick's come by and pick up your orchids. What Ethan needs you to do is to contact him so he can make arrangements to pick those up either at the tower desk or the center desk before Wednesday when we have the Azalea pickups. I hope this will make a lot of you happy because I know there's been quite a few phone calls back and forth. As we're talking about the Azalea, and Sherry, I'm sorry, I'm going to take a little of your thunder. There's a little issue going on Westbrook Avenue that Sherry's going to tell you about that's creating some problems for the families who are dropping off at Azalea. Please know you can turn off of Brook Road onto Westbrook and come in the back way, and that probably will solve the problem. Not knowing exactly where we'll be on Wednesday, I just wanted to share that information with you. I've had many phone calls this morning about Publix. That's our new shopping service that we just started this morning. I know there was some trouble for some of you to get through the line. And the first thing I want to remind you is this is the first day. Many people started calling at the same time, and very quickly the lines were busy. What I want to ask of you is to please be patient as we start a new process. Calling 6262 daily will allow us to fill more orders than we've been able to fill in the past, but yes, the line may be busy. The best solution for this is to pick a day other than Monday to be your shopping order day. If you call on a Tuesday, you're going to get the order on Wednesday, so give that a try. We'll continue to monitor this service, and if we need to make adjustments, we certainly will do that. But I do think in the long run, we're going to be able to service more people and have satisfied customers. Last, I'd like to remind you about the voting and the absentee ballots. I will have a memo that's going in your boxes today that will give you a few more details, and because of that, I'm not going to go into the details now. I just wanted to remind you that independent living residents are responsible for filling out their absentee ballots application. You should receive a hard copy, and if you do not, you should go on the computer and use the computer line. Please call your social worker or resident services at 6082 if you have any questions after you read the memo. That's all from me for today, so I'll turn it over to Sherry, even though I stole your thunder.
Hey there, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. As Deborah was saying, my first business was that I wanted to let you all know that your long awaited Westbrook paving has begun. The city is going to be working on the road from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily until they are finished. So hooray for that, and now we'll have a smooth road to ride on. A grounds update, wanted to let you know that summer flowers are going to be installed the week of May 11th. Kathleen's going to be completely involved in this process because this is the first time that BCLS has done the flower install with us. Greenhouse watering. Westminster Canterbury's grounds team will no longer be able to water resident plantings in the Todd and Huxley greenhouses. It will be the responsibility of the resident to maintain and water their own plants. Interior plantings watered by WCR Grounds. Our team is going to continue to water the interior plantings, and as much as we appreciate your concern, please do not water these plants. When plants are overwatered, they also show signs of looking like they've been underwatered. So if there's concerns for any specific interior plantings, please call Kathleen at 6045. And the tower green, trees are going in this week, shrubs will be going in next week, and followed by perennials. Take a look out there from anywhere that you can view the tower green. It's really coming along and starting to look really beautiful. And lastly, carpeting in the foundation hall is going to be installed tonight. So tomorrow there will be fresh, brand new carpet with a new medallion. And that is all for me. Up next is Taryn with Wellness.
Good afternoon, y'all. I'm Taryn with the Wellness Department. I want to start by reminding everyone to please call or email us if you completed the April calendar challenge. Now we are on to the May challenge, which is the I Spy challenge. One tip I have for you, write down what you find each day. You can write it on the calendar that we provided, or you can put it in a journal or in Post-it notes somewhere in your home. Studies show that writing things down help us not only be present, but also remember where to focus our thoughts and energy. So it's very helpful. Today I'm going to give you a breathing exercise. It's from Laughter Yoga, and it's really easy, and it can turn your whole day around. So you can first stretch up. You can inhale up. Reaching up, one arm, both arms, whatever you have, reach as far away from the middle of your body as you can, and take a nice breath, and give it a ha all the way down, and you can collapse downward, and do it again. Inhale up, and ha. We're gonna do it one more time. This time we're gonna giggle our way down. So, inhale up, and all the way down. You can do that whenever and wherever you want to. I encourage it. I believe everyone is aware that we have a new exercise video available. It is available, all of the videos are available on Touchtown. And if you have Touchtown, then you can also pause it when you need to, which may help for the next piece that I want to tell you about, which is, first of all, this exercise program is geared towards strengthening your core. Your core is made up of the muscles between your hips and your shoulders, including your hips and your shoulders. So it's abs, back, hips, internal and external, shoulders, internal and external, everything. It is important that we work these muscles and that we strengthen them because everything else comes off of the core. However, you can make anything a little bit more or a little bit less. So I want to walk you through a couple of ways that you can do that. The first exercise in the video, well, first of all, you can march. So if you start off right away, march for however long, and if you're using Touchdown, you can pause the exercises and exercise between, march between each exercise or each couple of exercises. Secondly, with the first exercise, which are the side bends, with your hands here and your feet open wide, the focus here is on your obliques. Those are our side muscles that allow us to bend and twist. I'm going to step out to the side and give you some more options. So, we have you in this position, feet wide. You can take your feet a little wider, bend the knees, tailbone straight toward the floor. This gives you a plie position. In this position, you should be able to feel your thighs engaged. This is going to make it a little bit more challenging in terms of strength. In this position, make sure that you are drawing your inner thighs toward each other and squeezing the glutes. Hands here, bend to the side, or you can extend an arm to make it a little bit more challenging. If you want to change it in a different way and make it more balance challenging, try a different foot position. One foot in front of the other in a stride position, and taking it side to side. With that arm reach, this is going to make it much more challenging for you in a balanced way. So make sure you're safe and have something to hold on to if you need it. The second exercise already starts in a stride position, but this one has you reaching forward. So you're hinged. You're hinged at the hips, long spine, arms reaching. If you want to make this more of a strength exercise here, besides the core, turn your palms face down, draw the elbows down, bringing your shoulder blades together, and then push the palms toward the back to engage the back of the arms. This exercise is working your entire core, but there's an emphasis on the back side of your body. So again, go from here, pull it down, and back. When you're working your core and your spine, speed is not your friend. But if you want to make this more cardiovascular, you can hold your position, swing the arms, front and back. That's going to put a lot more energy into the shoulders, so be mindful of that if that is a sensitive issue for you. And another option is to lift that back heel. So if you come up and down, and that will help to increase your heart rate, get your blood pumping a little bit, and maybe make you feel like it's a little more challenging. It is a little more challenging. Finally, I want to send you off with some Monday motivation. Edwina Brocklesby. Don't really know how to pronounce that. Edwina Brocklesby, a 76-year-old triathlete. She did not begin exercise until she was 50 years old, when she was inspired by a friend and decided to train for a half marathon. She ran her first full marathon at age 53 and completed her first triathlon at age 58. If you don't know what a triathlon is, it is run, bike, swim for long distances. At 76 years old, she is the UK's oldest Ironman triathlete. Now, we're not asking you to run marathons or triathlons, but we are asking you to move every single day. If she can do it, you can do it. Go with love. Next, we have Lynn.
Good afternoon. I'm Lynn McClintock, Director of Pastoral Care. I saw a wonderful video that I'd like to share. The script of with you. A couple residents also sent it to me. It's really nice, so I thought I would share it with you, and I'm sharing an excerpt. It's called The Great Realization. So there's a boy who's asking his father for a bedtime story, and this is sometime in the future. Tell me the one about the virus again, and then I'll go to bed, says the little boy. The father replies, Okay, snuggle down, my boy. I know you know full well. The story starts well before then, in a world I once would dwell. It was a world of waste and wonder, of poverty and plenty, back before we understood why hindsight's 2020. You see, the people came up with companies to trade across all lands, but they swelled and got much bigger than we ever could have planned. We'd always had our wants, but now it got so quick. You could have anything you dreamed of in a day and with a click. We noticed families had stopped talking. That's not to say they never spoke, but the meaning must have melted, and the work-life balance broke. And the children's eyes grew squarer, and every toddler had a phone. They filtered out imperfections, but amidst the noise, they felt alone. And every day the skies grew thicker till you couldn't see the stars. So we flew in planes to find them, while down below we filled our cars. We'd drive around all day in circles. We'd forgotten how to run. We'd swapped the grass for tarmac, shrunk the parks till there were none. We filled the sea with plastic because our waste was never capped. Until each day when you went fishing, you'd pull them out already wrapped. But then in 2020, a new virus came our way. The governments reacted and told us all to hide away. But while we were all hidden, amidst the fear and all the while, the people dusted off their instincts. They remembered how to smile. They started clapping to say thank you and calling up their moms. And while the car keys gathered dust, they would look forward to their runs. With skies left full of voyagers, the earth began to breathe, and the beaches bore new wildlife that scuttled off into the seas. Some people started dancing, some were singing, some were baking. We'd grown so used to bad news, but some good news was in the making. And so when we found the cure, we were allowed to go outside. We all preferred the world we found to the one we left behind. Old habits became extinct, and they made way for the new, and every simple act of kindness was now given its due. The little boy asked his father, "But why did it take a virus to bring people back together?" And the father replies, "Sometimes, my boy, you have to get sick before you start feeling better. Now lie down and dream of tomorrow and all the things we can do. And who knows, if you dream hard enough, maybe some of them will come true." And now we call it the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many. But that's the story of how it started and why hindsight's 2020. Our scripture is Job 12:12. When the ancient is wisdom, and in length of days, understanding. Let us pray. Gracious God, you call us to fix our eyes on things unseen. In this time of great realization for our world, may we come to know that out of your fullness, we have all received grace in place of grace already given. Give us the courage, dear Lord, to act upon it. We pray thee this day. Amen. Please join us tomorrow for our update at 3 p.m.